Mortal Kombat 1. Or is it Mortal Kombat 12? They call it Mortal Kombat 1. It's Mortal Kombat 12. Ah well. Anyway, we're going to take a look at it on the ROG Ally. We're just going to be looking at some presets, a couple of different resolutions, 720p and 1080p. Mostly on low, to be honest, because it didn't seem to want to go anything above that really with any great result. And just changing up the upscaling method to see what happens. So just to note, I am atrocious at fighting games, so we will be using the built-in benchmark so I don't embarrass myself too much. But let's get started. Starting off at 720p, 15 watt low preset with balanced FSR, and it's that's not bad actually. If you're not looking at getting online and getting competitive and you want to save some battery and you're happy between 30 and 40 FPS, it's pretty much alright. That's round about where it sits. If you switch off your FPS counter or whatever and just let VRR do its job, you probably wouldn't be able to tell too much of a difference, but it never seems to dip below it, so that's pretty reasonable. Now, keeping the same settings but moving into performance FSR, we don't see much of a change. The average FPS throughout only increases by about 3 up from 35 to 38 FPS. You will occasionally see it in the, it just hit about 40, but it doesn't stay there very long. I think you'd probably want to keep it balanced so you don't just ruin the visuals. Moving up to 25 watts, low settings, balanced FSR2 at 720p, and we actually hit an average in the benchmark of 52 FPS. This is probably, if you're doing 720p and you're not overly concerned about your battery, where you'd want to go, because you're close to 60, near as damn it that you probably won't be able to tell the difference if you turn off your frame counter. This is pretty darn good. Shifting FSR over into performance mode again on 25 watt 720p low, and we get an average at the end of the benchmark of 57 FPS this time around, which is really darn good. If you need something much closer to 60 FPS and you're happy for it to look a little less nice, this is probably a good choice. Moving into 1080p territory, starting on low with the ultra performance FSR at 15 watts, and we get an average of 37 FPS throughout the benchmark. It looks terrible. I would not want to play it like this. The ultra performance FSR is way too low. Technically, it's playable if you're happy for it to look like this. I'm not though. Cranking the same settings up to 25 watt ultra performance FSR, and we get an average of 56 FPS throughout the benchmark. It's pretty sweet. It's close to 60, really close to 60. Pick your poison. Coming down into performance FSR, 25 watt, 1080p, and we're sitting in the mid 40s, 46 or so. Not bad at all, totally playable. And finally, moving on to balanced FSR, 25 watt, 1080p low settings, and I think we come out with 41 FPS on this benchmark run. It's not bad at all. It's definitely playable. If you can't get 60, 40 is the next best thing to go for. So pick your poison. Do you want it to look nice or not? So what's the best way to do it? If you're just going to go through the story, 15 watt, 720p, balanced FSR will get you 35 or so FPS. It's totally playable. You probably wouldn't notice too much. Bring those same settings up to the 25 watt mode and you'll get 52 FPS, which is even better. So if you're not worried about your battery, that's probably the best way to go for 720p. For 1080p, on the other hand, I'd probably manage my expectations and start aiming towards 40 instead of 60. You can push it to 60, but it starts to look rubbish. I would probably go for the balanced FSR, 25 watt at 1080p. That kept it above 40, and that's totally reasonable to me. Anyway, hope this helped you out. If it did, please leave a like, subscribe, check out the channel. We've got loads more videos like this. See you in the next one.